Celebrating 30 years of phenomenal trend forecasting, 5 times a week, Monday through Friday. Here's Gerald Celente with today's trends in the news.
Hi, this is Gerald Celente. It's Friday, October 30th, 2015. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Well, on the market front, everything is essentially flat. The news from the Bank of Japan was that, they're not doing another round of Abenomics. So things are kind of leveled out a bit. Over here in the States, the markets are up, closed down. But when you look at the number, you know where it is? Just about where it was last year at this time. That's what the Dow is. So, how come? Growth slows as the economy slogs along. Hey, that's not me, that's the Wall Street Journal. The growth advanced at a familiar 2% rate, showing the economy remains locked into a restrained expansion more than 6 years after the recession ended. And again, this is despite all of those trillions of dollars the Fed has dumped into the market. We're looking at basically a 2% growth rate. But, of course, it's been good for them rich guys and driving those markets along. So that's the way they write it in the Wall Street Journal. Different story over here from the toilet paper record, the New York Times. Consumer spending and housing prop up U.S. economy. They're reporting the same story on GDP. While the overall rate of growth was decidedly lackluster, 1.5% last quarter, according to the Commerce Department, spending by consumers, so that's what brought it back up. And you know what the spending on consumers was? Now remember this headline, consumer spending and housing prop up U.S. economy. Healthcare and insurance. Oh, and furniture too. Healthcare and insurance. Wait a minute. That's not like you're buying stuff. Those aren't consumer products. No, that's like more taxes. Can anybody figure that out? Boy, they should put property tax and school tax into it, and then you really see where consumer spending is going. But hey, it's the toilet paper. These are the lying people that bring you war after war. Disgusting human beings that throw themselves out with the bullshit line, the paper of record. The paper of record for criminals. The paper of record to promote propaganda. The paper of record for lowlifes that write for them. Like that guy Hard-On. You had the CNBC one that asked Donald Trump, is this a comic that you're making into the presidential reality show? Words to that effect. He used the word comic. Oh, it's not Hard-On. It's hardwood. Hardly a brain. Another shill for the times. But hey, why get excited? It's only war, crimes, and stealing of your rights. Who should get upset? It's the paper of record. Record lowlifes. And they got a long record for it. Hey, remember that Saddam Hussein with his aluminum tubes? Yeah, they should have shoved that aluminum tube up Colin's colon. Yep. Powell, that is. Hurt by low oil prices and $79 billion in write-offs, Royal Dutch Shell posts a loss. Shell cuts another 1,000 jobs after $8 billion hit over Alaska and oil sands setback. Isn't that nice language? Setback. Oil giants see no relief on prices. Again, it's a supply and demand issue. Go back a year and a half ago when prices started falling. They blamed it on the Saudi Arabia and the United States punishing Russia for the Ukraine incident that they don't talk about anymore. Hey, things are great over there in the Ukraine, huh? Oh, yeah, they're having a little problem with the IMF. That's right. Yeah, giving, Ukraine that loan, but Ukraine owns Russia $3 billion. And you're not allowed to loan money to a country that can't pay back the debt that it owes to another country. But they're going to change the rules because that's what they always do. But they'll call it the law. So, anyway, it's a supply and demand issue, had nothing to do with Russia or anything else. Again, we're looking at all those commodity prices falling. And, of course, the word is that the Fed now is going to raise interest rates in December. But when you look at those numbers that just came out and you look what's going on and overall in the United States, besides those lousy numbers, exports already plunged this year by 7.8% or $128 billion. So, hey, remember the liar in chief, Obama? He was going to double exports by 2016. Just another empty promise by an empty suit. And there's just one after another. One after another. You look at the numbers coming in. Yeah, consumers are spending according to the toilet paper of record. Check it out. Personal income, with that number that just came out on GDP, it went up the grand total of 0.1%. How about nothing? How about it didn't keep up with inflation? But that's what they do. They're always lying. So now we're looking for the big job numbers to come out next Friday. That'll be all the news. That'll be all the news. They're looking for about 180,000 jobs. My belief is they will. Maybe even 200,000 jobs. But the jobs they create won't be jobs that anybody wants. The jobs that people need, that don't pay money. You're looking at the income levels. They're nothing. They're declining in real numbers. But, again, the cheap money, what does it do? Every day, I've been reading these, you've been hearing them. Pfizer starts Allergan courtship. Allergan, yep. Deal would create largest drug maker, Botox maker attractive due to Irish tax domicile. In other words, the big guys could hide their dough, don't have to pay any taxes, and we get screwed for every little penny that we owe. But again, another merger and acquisition on the horizon. Visa deal for Europe here, buying up Visa Inc. is close to clinching the biggest deal in its history by buying a company named Visa over in Europe. More mergers and acquisitions. Key Corp, First Niagara to join bank deal wave. Yeah, too big to fail. And they got much bigger and much fatter. Thanks again to your liar-in-chief, Obama, and that lowlife of a man, gives men a bad name, Eric Holder. Yeah, the former Attorney General, too big to jail, didn't put anybody in jail. So the banks keep getting bigger. And again, it's global immorality in a government near you. Moldovan coalition collapses amid fallout from a $100 billion fraud. Collapsed yesterday following a $1 billion theft from the country's banks. All a deal. It's all bankism and all crooks. And again, they keep lying about the word. Afraid to call a spade, murderers, and thieves. Migrant crisis strains Germany's oldest political marriage. Open borders at risk in Europe. Migrant crisis. This is the border between Slovenia and Austria. And Saudi airstrike destroys bus in Yemen, kills 10 civilians. I guess that's U.S. reconnaissance and intelligence. The murders go on. And by the way, what's going on in Israel, get ready for it to explode. Get ready for it to keep stealing more land, clamping down on the people. It's a total apartheid state. These young kids have no lives in front of them. Are they going to go wild? Hey, they made a beautiful scene over there in Iraq, didn't they, by destroying the joint, killing over 1 million people? I wonder how these radicals are created. Couldn't be because you rob them of everything, torture them, and imprison them. Why should they rebel? They should be more like Americans, a bunch of soft little patsies. And when I was in Italy, I saw the same thing there. Everybody lost their fight. They've lost their fight around the world. I asked my friends, why can you guys put up with this stuff? Yeah, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And everybody has an excuse. Oh, we're working so hard, I got to raise the kids, baby, back. Everybody has an excuse to be a coward and lose their self-respect. Yemen, you, every American, are responsible for the death of those people. But they don't count for one Frenchman, one Englishman, one American, or one Israeli. They're only Yemenis. The United States is supplying the so-called intelligence, reconnaissance, air refueling, and the bombs to do it, and supporting our, quote, Arab allies, as Hillary Clinton calls them. And talking about liars, frauds, and freaks, how about this one? U.S. to send special operation forces to Syria. That's right. Just announced the first deployment. Hey, but go back. Go back and listen to the liar-in-chief lie again.
Many of you have asked, won't this put us on a slippery slope to another war? One man wrote to me that we are still recovering from our involvement in Iraq. A veteran put it more bluntly. This nation is sick and tired of war. My answer is simple. I will not put American boots on the ground in Syria.
The Obama administration is deploying operation forces inside Syria for the first time in a significant escalation on the fight against the radical Islamic State group. And you know who they're going to be fighting with? Sunni Arab forces. Hey, who are these Sunni Arab forces? Who are they? Who are they? Sunnis fighting the Alawites. Shia Sunni, you get it? It's not about fighting. It's about fighting Assad. And again, he lies, lies and lies and lies. I'm going to close Guantanamo, I tells you, pulling out them troops out of Afghanistan. One lie after another. Most transparent government you ever seen. But you little tiny people are called Americans, you're not allowed to look at the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And the Pentagon. We're in combat in Iraq. That's right. Colonel Steve Warren, a U.S. military spokesman in Baghdad, described the mission in blunt terms. Quote, we're in combat. That's why we all carry guns. That's why we all get combat patches when we leave here. That's why we all receive imminent danger pay. So of course we're in combat. Hey, but that's not what El Presidente said back a year ago. Here, listen.
We will not be sending U.S. troops back into combat in Iraq. As I've said before, these American forces will not have a combat mission. We will not get dragged into another ground war in Iraq.
It's all there is. Lies and more war talk. Nobody talks about peace. Not a peep about peace. Only about war. And the United States, of course, is ramping it up in the South China Sea. South China Sea, China warns U.S. over provocative acts. China's naval commander has warned his U.S. counterpart against dangerous and provocative acts, days after U.S. warships sailed to contested islands in the South China Sea. Now, they have these tiny little islands that they dredged out. And the United States is telling them they're not theirs. But this is according to the Chinese. Wu Shai-kun, director of China's National Institute for South China Sea Studies, expressed skepticism of the U.S. rationale. Malaysia, Philippines, Vietnam have all built islands in the South China Sea. And Vietnam is still building them, he said. So you can see how America is biased towards China. They want to oppose China on the issue of the South China Sea. And the administration came out and said, we particularly have to protect our friends, the Vietnamese. Yeah, the Vietnamese that they started a war against back in the 60s, killed over 3 million people, lied us into war, and they just keep lying. So again, it's up to you. It's up to we the people. Either we occupy peace or keep occupying war, occupying madness, occupying greed, and occupying immorality. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.